Hello, and welcome to our tour of Gwendolyn, my Dodge Ram Promaster 2020. One of the first things I was really sure about in the design process was this wall right here. I thought would really help make the van build overall seem less like a van with a bed in the back and more like a home that happens to have a cab up front. So we put in this dividing wall right here, and I think we really accomplished that goal because it really does feel more homely when you're in the back part of the van. For the wall, we have shiplap that's been painted white to match the same white that everything else is in here. In the middle, we have 1 inch of polyiso insulation. On the other side, we just have plywood that's been stained to make it more of a stealth camper van from the front. It's a bit nondescript. You can't exactly tell that someone's living in it. For the curtain, we have fabric, and in the middle, we put in Reflectix to make it really heavy for one, and also keep out the sun so it doesn't get too hot or too cold in here. So up here, we left it all pretty open. The only uninsulated part is the very front of the cab back there, just storage space. We didn't think it would be insulated more than it had to be. Up here we have a joint carbon monoxide and smoke detector. This is the controller for our nondescript diesel parking heater. The heater is below the passenger seat, and it exhausts beneath the van, and it lets out here. On the inside of the door we have... Originally there were two black plastic panels on the upper part of the store and the lower part, and replaced those with this white painted beadboard just so it can match the overall decor of the van more. However, we've tried sealing it several different ways and it just won't quite entirely become waterproof. Being at the opening of the door, moisture can just kind of sink in places. At some point, we'll have to replace it with plastic. We installed this window here ourselves. It's pretty standard. It's meant for the van, so it fits pretty well. It has a little ventilation-y part, so you can... We installed 6 LED lights, 4 above the main cabin and 2 above the bed. The 4 here are on a switch right below the sink, and the 2 over the bed are on a switch right below the bed. And all 6 are on a touch dimmer system. So, ooh. Up here we have one of 2 120 volt outlets that we have on board. We decided to put it here so we can plug in things like blenders or Instapots, etc. The countertop is 1.5 inch cherry butcher block. We just did an epoxy pour over it to seal it, and now it's shiny. We also cut out a section here for the double induction stove. We chose to go with a double induction stove over a propane stove because we wanted to eliminate the use of propane on board. We figured it'd be easier just to have less fuel sources than more, and safer. This is one of 2 under-counter cabinets we built. We have, you know, drawers to store things like dishes, food, etc. And of course, down here we have fridge. We have here the CFX50 Dometic model. I decided to go with one of the smallest models you can get because I don't have many refrigeration needs overall when it comes to my eating habits. It's a fridge. It's currently 4 degrees Celsius. Back behind the fridge we have the induction stove, which is plugged into an AC outlet in the wall, and the fridge is plugged into a 12-watt outlet. The fridge door is also on some heavy-duty door slides, and then a nice little latch so it doesn't fly away. On this side of the van we have another set of cabinets, and under here we have a 5-gallon gray water tank which the sink just empties directly into. We also have the shower nozzle, which we'll talk more about in a minute, and there's also a water filter-y thing. Here we have a single deep sink with a faucet, hot, cold. It's also pretty cool because it comes off right here, and you can attach the shower nozzle right up here, and we have a push button here as well, so that once you set the temperature of the water to wherever you want it to be, you don't have to fiddle with that anymore, and you can just decide when you want the water to come out here. And over here we have our other countertop. It's actually a lot deeper than the countertop over here. It's about 19 inches deep. Here it is 25 inches deep, which gives a lot of space for food prep and such, but more than anything else, we wanted it so deep because under here we have our bathroom shower combination. So, the shower pan is a pre-made shower pan. It's 25 inches wide. We put the copper on the walls to seal it. The toilet is a Nature's Head composting toilet. The good thing about these toilets is that they're different from the toilets that you would find at like a national park. They separate the solids from the liquids, and it has a continuously operating fan to keep the smell quite down. This is a vent for the toilet that goes out the bottom, and next to it is just an overflow vent for the water tank, which we'll get to later. I'm sitting on the seat here that we built. It has extra storage beneath the seat with some access to electrical beneath it as well. Over here on this side of the seat we have our AC panel, our water gauge which tells us how much water we have in the tank, and an outlet as well. Above the seat we have an assortment of electrical things, including the light switch for above the bed, another outlet for plugging in things like laptops, etc. We have 4 switches that have yet to be labeled yet, the lights for below the cabinets, the water pump, and the heater. This is the battery monitor, and this is to turn on the inverter. Under the bed here, in the middle, we have some unfinished cabinet space, largely because we haven't decided what we're going to do with it yet. So for now it's being left open with a bit of ply in between so we can store some stuff there. And under the bed here, we have this fun little pull-out table, which again is just plywood with some epoxy pour over it. And the table pulls out, you can eat here, you can put your laptop here, it's a table. Over here we have the bed. It is a full-size mattress, and it's also a fixed bed that we just put on some slats right here. One of the main reasons that it's a fixed bed is because I do not want to have to make the time every day to put it up and down, make it, unmake it, and I just want to have it easy like this. And also it's elevated enough so that you have storage beneath, but not too elevated that you don't whack your head every time you sit up. On this side we have a line of cabinets. We decided to only have cabinets on this side and as opposed to on both sides, mostly so that we had more open space and it seemed less cramped overall. The cabinet doors themselves are on gas struts that are both strong enough to keep them closed when they are shut and we're driving, and keep them up when you need them up. So yeah, 6 cabinets here to store things like food, clothes, lots of space overall.
One of the areas we didn't do too much to is actually back here.
Below me is the garage, which has a lot of space to store things, but not much done to it.
What she meant to say was it's the garage down below. She said it incorrectly. And you can see it looks like a bit of a mess, but there's plenty of room for storage back here. You can see here we have our water tank, which is 30 gallons?
Yes.
30 gallon water tank back here. I don't know why we have this. We just had a jerry can from the boat and we thought we would maybe need to carry extra water or something, but 30 gallons is plenty. There's so much to fill up. You can see back here we have a couple of camp chairs, there's a paddleboard, and then still some of our tools which haven't come out yet. Really probably the key to most of this is going to be the battery bank, which is back over here. Really the main component of this whole van is the power system. We have 2 lithium ion phosphate magnesium batteries in here, which are 138 amp hour each, 12 volt batteries. So it gives us a 12 volt bank, which we've got set up, about 272 amp hours total. Probably 80% of that is usable. You could go lower if you wanted to on a lithium bank, but again, that hasn't been an issue, even running the water heater, which we have in here, and the induction stove, because we've got such a large solar. And again, there's still always power management involved, so we don't want to run a whole bunch of high-powered items in the evening, especially if we know it's going to be 4 days of no sun or something like that. We can see our solar controller over here as well, which is already in absorption now, even after running the heater and everything all morning. And then we have a 3000 watt inverter up here. It's an Ames pure sine inverter, which gives us really good power for our outlets and for our blenders and appliances and induction and anything else you want to plug in. It'll run quite a bit off that inverter. Obviously the high powered water heater is running off that as well. You can see in back here we have a nice simple little, probably like 3 gallon a minute or something like that. It might even be less, of a water pump. And then there's a little accumulator tank behind that. So this runs out of here from this water tank. This big hose you see here is the overflow vent that drains out into the head there, into the toilet area. This here is a fill, which works really well for us because we do have a hose on board here. And then you can see here, this is where our fresh water's coming out down the bottom. There's an additional drain plug down the bottom, which we haven't done anything with yet, if we wanted to drain the tank and flush it out. A little bit about the solar panels. Everything you saw there is running completely off of those batteries. We kept two completely separate systems here, so this is not connected in any way to the car battery or the car alternator, although you can do it that way. We run everything off of these two panels on top. That gives us 640 watts of solar, which has been more than enough.
Overall, the whole build process took the three of us about 3.5 months to complete, with a few interruptions and work here and there. But overall, we are so happy with the final product.
What we wanted to accomplish was a living space that was small and could be permanent or temporary. It can travel or stay stationary. And in the end, I think we kind of got that. So it was a pretty fun experience and it was pretty worth it. So good job.
Good job.
Hi there! I didn't get it.
Thank you for watching the tour of Gwendolyn. It was really fun to do it. Hope you enjoyed watching it. Stay tuned for next week to see Gwendolyn start to go on some adventures on land, not adrift. That'd be bad.
It would be bad.
Till next week.
Cheers.
Okay. Is this a photo?
Oh. No, it's a video.
The cabinet, drawers? Windows? Doors. The cabinet doors themselves. So you can look at the creepers who are staring in the window and get some nice of air coming in.